The woman who lives here was asleep in this bed, heard the roaring of the storm, and ran from her bedroom just moments before the tree came crashing through the roof. If you think you're too drunk to drive, odds are you're probably right. So advocates want to make sure you have a plan before ringing in 2019. You know, the officials here in Flagler County, they said that they really feel like they dodged a bullet. So they lifted that curfew. The evacuation is now over. It's a very scary situation here at War Memorial Stadium about an hour ago as those reports of gunshots came in. Also, a stampede of sorts in the end zone. When those cooler temps might make for good TV weather, a lot of us are watching a lot of TV during this pandemic too. But have you ever wondered how long it will take you to get through a new series? Well, guess what? There's an app for that, just like there is for everything. Almost the entire community of Pendleton is underwater. You have to take a boat to get just about anywhere. Some of his personal items were found inside the cab, but searches of the area never yielded an arrest. We have a major traffic alert to tell you about. Highway 67, US 67, closed in both directions this morning due to an accident involving a hazmat spill. I'm going to flip the camera around here. I'm here in the passenger seat on Highway 367. We heard from Mayor Frank Scott Jr. here in Little Rock earlier. He is suggesting that events of more than 200 people anticipating attendance, that those be postponed or canceled. David, we know at least one person was hurt in the storms here overnight, and there's damage throughout St. Francis County. This is some of the worst here at the Delta Regional Airport. Here's a question for you this morning. Could you change the world with sidewalk chalk? The Thea Foundation thinks it's a great start, and they're giving you lots of different opportunities this month to get involved. Right here you have Nexus Coffee and Creative. It's been here for several years. It's actually expanding into the space next door that was previously occupied by the barn, so exciting times there. 6:02 here, breaking overnight. People in Little Rock continued protesting throughout the night until police used tear gas to clear the crowds for the second night in a row. County offices here in Flagler County will stay closed for the remainder of today. They are planning to reopen tomorrow. Many of us have pets, right? Not me, but I want one. We'll get to that in a second. They're like our best friends, and some people are taking that bond to a whole new level. You can still see some of the spray paint here on the fallen police officers' monument outside the Little Rock Police Department headquarters. That's your THV 11 timeout. More news on THV11.com, and tonight at 10, enjoy the rest of the game.
There's a mailbox right there.
If you want to get around Pendleton, you'll have to find a boat.
And it's just overwhelming, you know. You don't know what to say.
It's tough for Peggy Hill to see her riverfront community underwater. And this sight.
It's terrible.
Is even tougher.
We've worked hard for, 9 years trying to get it established to be on our own, be our own bosses.
A week before the waters rise, Peggy and her husband began preparing their beloved Triple P.
We operated until the last minute that we could, and then the people that had been in that night, they hung around and helped us get everything lifted up, put up.
Efforts to save a community staple.
Tied everything down and bolted it down, and then just give it to God and let Him work His magic. That's all we could do.
And now all they can do is wait.
But He will prevail. He'll get us all out of this.
You can see the water's already on the top of my boots here, and Peggy says it's been rising throughout the day and likely will continue to rise ahead of the projected crest on Sunday.
I'm ready for it to crest, and let's get back to what we can do.
Because in a community that's lost so much,
there's just a devastation that is just can't be explained.
Peggy is ready to serve.
And I know that we're not the only ones.
Not just food and drinks. She wants to pay forward the kindness shown to her.
I mean, it's really been just outpouring.
Amid the Arkansas River's historic rise.
Maybe we can get ours up and going, and then we will be able to fall out and help some of the other families that are back in here behind us. Everybody will work together here as a community.
In Deshay County, Michael Aaron, THV 11 News. Little Rock teachers are on strike for the first time in more than 30 years. Let's take a look at the picket line here. It started forming over the last half hour or so. I'd say around 50 people are here, and the crowd is expected to grow of teachers, students, parents, and others demanding full local control of the Little Rock School District. Of course, this comes just a few weeks after the teachers union lost its negotiating power. So we see people out here wearing red, holding signs, things that say, "I'm striking for my students," messages such as that. So it is just getting underway. They're going to be here for a few hours and then head to the Department of Education ahead of the state board meeting. We will be there and have full coverage throughout the day. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this Saturday morning. You made it to the weekend. I'm Michael Aaron. Protests continue all over the country for Breonna Taylor. She was shot and killed by Louisville police back in March. Now people are saying enough is enough with police use of force. So our Ashley Godwin looked into the Little Rock Police Department's use of force stats over the past decade. The numbers are not in yet for 2020, but Lieutenant Clark says that he doesn't think they'll be much different, even though this year has been more active for the department. Dozens of protesters in Louisville were arrested overnight for violating curfew, and larger protests are planned this weekend there. Protesters are vowing to keep marching until the officers involved are fired. Breonna Taylor's family led a march through downtown last night after holding a news conference where they rebuked Kentucky's Attorney General. Her aunt wore her emergency medical technician jacket and read the words of Taylor's mother, who was too upset to speak. The family's attorney is asking the grand jury to release their files, and the first body cam footage from the morning of March 13th, it's been released. You see that on your screen right now. It shows officers move Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, who was shot in the leg. And happening today, President Trump expected to announce his Supreme Court Justice nomination. Multiple sources say it's going to be Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Deborah Alfarone has more from the White House. The White House has started reaching out to Republican Senate offices to schedule meetings with the SCOTUS nominee starting next Wednesday. Her hearing could be in just a couple of weeks. This weekend, the MLK Commission is hosting an event to help Arkansans register to vote. It is happening at Mosaic Church on Colonel Glenn this morning from 11 to 2. Comedian Joe Torre and Grammy-nominated artist Yo-Yo will be there. And if you have any questions about the voting process this year, we put together a guide just for you. All you have to do is text the word VOTE to 501-376-1111. We'll send our voter guide directly to your phone. All right, we want to look at the coronavirus cases in the state now. 796 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 were reported in Arkansas yesterday. Roughly 7,200 cases are active right now. 19 more people have lost their lives from this virus. We're also going into the weekend with a jump in hospitalizations. 27 more people are in the hospital this morning. That brings the state's total up to 484. 709 here in 4 Central Arkansas schools receive a surprise donation to help them get through a very challenging year. The congregation at 8th Street Missionary Baptist Church raised over $8,000 for education. Whether it's for PPE or technology needs, church members wanted to make sure the children and teachers in their community have everything they need to succeed this fall. The $8,000 was split evenly between Dunbar Middle, Jacksonville High School, North Little Rock Academy, and Meadow Park Elementary. Okay, I know it's fall, but not everything has to taste like pumpkin spice. Am I right? I think I'm right. Okay, you're going to get your moment, Scott. Kraft is hoping to ride the pumpkin spice wave by introducing some fall-flavored comfort food. The box comes with dry macaroni noodles and a pumpkin spice-flavored powder to add to the classic cheese powder, along with cinnamon to sprinkle on top, and a coffee mug, but there's a catch. You'll have to add your name to a wait list. Only 1,000 people will actually get it. You know what I did try? Trader Joe's had some pumpkin spice tortilla chips.
Now that sounds interesting. I can be for that, without a doubt. How were they?
I actually tried them.
Yeah, pretty
decent,
good.
Decent.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
I don't know that I'll buy another bag, but it was worth a shot once. The power of just 7 characters, letters, numbers, or a combination of both, is easily observed driving down an Arkansas highway or rolling up behind someone at a stop sign.
Arkansans, when it comes to their license plates, are fairly creative.
The Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration issued almost 34,000 custom license plates between the start of 2015 and end of 2018.
A lot of Razorbacks, lots of family names, lots of team names.
Inspirational messages, Bible verses, admissions of guilt, pressing questions, even one with a notorious President Trump Twitter typo. At a cost of just $50 per year, DFA spokesperson Scott Harden says personalized license plates are especially popular in the natural state.
This is a state-issued plate. This is something that represents Arkansas.
Which is why DFA has a strict screening process to ensure racy requests don't make it to metal.
We don't want to see a family pull up to a stoplight here in Little Rock, get behind a car, and a kid say to the parent, Mommy, what does blank mean? And put anyone in an uncomfortable situation.
This not-so-little black book contains 12,000 character combinations you'll never see on an Arkansas license plate. Included, I hate you, hot mama, and countless other phrases not fit for TV.
While I'm going to keep it fairly simple here, I can just say use your imagination.
Every week, a team of DFA agents reviews custom plate applications, flagging offensive phrases and adding them to the database. And anytime there's a question of meaning,
We go to Google, we go to the Urban Dictionary, we check this and see simply what is this.
with phrases deemed unfit for Arkansas roads added to the book. Though Hardin calls the state's review process effective overall,
We're only human, we do miss things.
he admits a few less than appropriate character combos have slipped through the cracks. In the event of driver complaints, DFA will say, no, and pull the plate.
This isn't common, it happens about twice a year.
So, real talk. Hardin urges Arkansans to keep having fun, but use common sense.
They're knowledgeable enough to know what goes and what doesn't.
What?
So I'm not even going to open this book on live TV. I don't want to lose my job, number one. And I wasn't
We'll
kidding.
open it for you.
No. They will make you blush. A lot of what's in here, those 12,000 characters. So as a consolation, some good news. We have posted some of those license plates you saw there, along with some other viewer favorites in a photo gallery on THV11.com. I'm Michael Aaron on Highway 232 in southern Lonoke County. We're near the Seton Dump area, if you're familiar with this portion of Lonoke County, and we're seeing some pretty significant damage from the overnight storms. We'll have you take a look here. You can see these farm buildings just destroyed in the overnight storms. So been talking with some people who live in this area for the last few minutes. They say that that red metal that you see there, it was actually a shed over the tractors off to the right side of your screen and the trucks there. So the winds obviously picked it up, and it then hit a old gin office that was sitting right here along the highway. Across the street, across the highway here, you can see a cement block off here in the distance. It was actually at the foundation of that shed, and it was in the middle of the highway here until RDOT crews came out and moved it out of the middle of the road. So some pretty significant damage here in Lonoke County. I would imagine that the National Weather Service will be out here to assess. We don't have that confirmed yet, but we'll certainly keep you updated. About 37,000 people without power across the state. You can stay up to date on all the latest information throughout the day on THV11.com. A day of digging leads to disappointment.
It's heartbreaking.
Pain shared by investigators.
I can't imagine not knowing.
And a family here in search of answers.
He's somewhere. We're going to find him someday.
Douglas Kirk disappeared on August 5th, 1995. He was last seen in McRae, northeast of Beebe.
We remember him about every day.
His brother Keith received a call from one of his friends Friday morning, alerting him of the detectives and equipment outside Ace Hardware, a familiar sight.
You come out and check it out.
One inducing a wave of emotion.
Anticipation, hopeful, you always hope to bring him home.
The sheriff says this building was under construction when Kirk disappeared, and detectives actually dug up a separate area of the parking lot earlier in their investigation. This is video of that search in 1999, prompted by an informant who told White County deputies they'd find Kirk buried under the parking lot of what was then a Harvest Food store.
It turned up nothing.
The sheriff's office has investigated this entire time.
20 years later, White County Sheriff Philip Miller says new information corroborated by his office brought investigators back to the same site with a search warrant. With efforts focused on the loading dock this time, they hoped to find Kirk's remains or evidence of them. But once again,
Unfortunately, we didn't get the results that we were wanting today. We didn't get the closure that we were hoping for the family. But we're not giving up.
Not giving up on this case, this family that, despite its pain,
We'll get there one day, Mom. We'll get there.
is not giving up either.
Someone step up and give us the right information that we need.
Someone knows.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.